What's up, guys? It's Kingdom Hearts 3. I'm doing an opinionated voice recording of the Nintendo NX. Now, we've all heard that, the Wii U sucks and Nintendo's gonna fail with the new console and it's gonna be all bad and blah, 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 and all this other stuff. Like, who cares? Yeah, the Wii U isn't a bestseller like the Wii was, but it sold 10 million hardware units, which is not great, but it's not bad either. It's not as bad as the Dreamcast was, and the Dreamcast is loved by so many different people. It's become a cultural cult classic now, and so many people love it to death. And that's the same thing that's going to happen to the Wii U. A lot of people love it. Like me, my opinion, I love the Wii U. It's got good controller. The gamepad is amazing to use, and having that second screen, which you can see everything that happens on the TV onto the gamepad itself, is amazing. Not having to require an internet connection like the PSP did or the PS Vita or even my Xperia Z3. I have to have an internet connection to play off the PS4 onto my Xperia Z3. So having no internet connection, using only Bluetooth to play all your top hit games onto a little screen from the Wii U is amazing. Now, that may not be the best thing on the planet when it comes to developers' sides because they have to develop new ways of making content for the gamepad so it's intuitive, people are into it, and it's not just sitting there as a regular controller, which the Wii U does provide with the Wii U Pro controller and or Wii remotes with the classic controller attachments. Yes, we all know that the gamepad is bulky and it's annoying to use sometimes, and I don't find that true at all. But it's everyone's opinion. This is my opinions. And now to the real subject of the matter is the NX. Can Nintendo come back from the failure of the Wii U? Well, quote unquote failure of the Wii U. I don't see it as a failure. Yeah, it didn't sell many units, but it is a great console. It does fantastically, in my opinion. Bayonetta 2, I still have yet to play Bayonetta 2, but it looks amazing. 720p at 60 frames is amazing. Mario Kart 8, I've played that, is amazing. 60 frames on that is also hands down the best thing I've ever seen, other than playing 60 frames like Uncharted Collection on my PS4. But that's a PS4 to a Wii U. It's like comparing potatoes to tomatoes. You can't compare the two. They're two different things. In my opinion, if Nintendo does the NX correctly, it will sell like hotcakes. Everyone will buy them. It doesn't matter if it's $200, $300, or even $400. If the NX provides great power and amazing launch title games, it will sell. In my opinion, the NX is going to sell very, very well. And here's the reason why. Reason number one, it's leaving the disc-based games. It's going to what we all believe is flash storage games, aka bringing back the cartridge. Now, everyone's like, oh, that's so weak sauce and that's lame because everything we run off is off a disk base. It's like, well, look at hard drives now. Hard drives, everyone that's a tech guru that loves tech will say a 5400 RPM or even a 7200 RPM hard drive is old school. It's old. It's slow, clunky, makes a lot of noise, causes a lot of heat, and they're right. Now, if you have solid state drives or flash storage or even fusion drives, the new MacBook comes with an option of a fusion drive. I'm sorry, not the MacBook. The iMac 21.5-inch iMac comes with a Fusion 1 terabyte drive. That comes with, I think, 32 gigs of flash storage, and the rest of it is hard drive. That hard drive right there is incredibly fast. Now, if the NX uses nothing but flash storage, it's got to come with at least 256 gigs of flash storage within the console itself. If not, if they do that whole 32 gig or even 126 gigs, that's not going to be enough, because video games now, the installs for those video games are amazingly high. Like, good example, Xenoblade Chronicle X, it's 28 gigs. You can't have a download of 28 gigs on 32 gigabyte hard drive. That's retarded. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. That's a big fail on Nintendo's part. Now, if they throw in a bigger hard drive, or even a Fusion hard drive that has flash storage so it can operate the OS incredibly quick, and throw in maybe 500 or 720 gig regular disk-based hard drive, it's going to sell, because it's going to save them money on that end. And then also going to the cartridge end, the developers can provide their own file size cartridge. Like, good example, USB drives now come in 8, 16, 32, I believe 64 and 128 gigs for all the price of a regular Blu-ray video game. And only a Blu-ray video game can come in 50 gigs standard. And 50 gigs, yeah, it's a lot, but it does not touch to 128 gigs. And all of these developers that have to format their video games onto a Blu-ray, and they only take up 32 gigs of the Blu-ray's disc, where's the other 18 gigs? And none of it can be DLC, none of the DLC can be burned onto the Blu-ray. They're stuck at that size, and the DLC goes straight to the hard drive. Now, if Nintendo were able to find a way of making their cartridges go from having the video game and all the DLC going into the cartridge itself, it allows developers a lot more control over their video games and what type of cartridge or flash storage they want to use for their video games. And then they can also provide the save data onto the cartridge instead of the console itself. Instead of saving all of your info and all of your save files onto the hard drive itself, it goes straight back into the cartridge. And flash storage, super quick load times, unlike disc-based, which it has to wait for the disc to load up. Even though newer consoles like the Xbox One and the PS4, even PCs, where they install the game so it's a quicker loading time, that's still a huge install. And if you are on a budget like everyone else is, like 90% of the gamers are on budget. They can't afford to get 3 terabyte hard drives and put it into their $2,000 PCs. 90% of us can't afford that. So we have to stick with consoles. Like me, if I could afford a $2,000 PC and afford an Xbox One and a PS4 and a future NX, I wouldn't have to worry about what the NX is going to provide, but I do. I have to worry about that. I have to worry about what the PS4 provides because I'm on a budget. Now, that's all good and all, but if the PS4 and the Xbox One have to rely on a hard drive, a 5400 RPM hard drive, at the same time relying on the disc, it slows down everything. Now, if Nintendo can figure out a way of making the cartridge work and have this future console be as powerful or even more powerful, where it competes with high-end or even mid-grade gaming PCs, this console will sell. And I'm saying it right now, it will sell. And if they are able to make some kind of backwards compatibility where you download a video game from the Nintendo eShop and you have an empty cartridge, like what if Nintendo is able to provide empty cartridges of up to 64 gigs? Now, if you want to play your old video games, but you can't because the new NX isn't going to be disk based. It's going to be only flash storage. Now, if they can allow you to download a video game from the Nintendo eShop onto the cartridge, you wouldn't have to save that downloaded game onto the console anymore. And it allows full backwards compatibility, but without the whole hassle of taking up space on your hard drive. It would take up space on a cartridge that you have provided next to you. And also the other good thing about having cartridge based, you don't have to worry about scratching your discs anymore. Yeah, Blu-rays come with protective coatings that keep it from getting scratched, but if you drop it, or if one of your nieces or nephews or any children around your kids get their hands on that game, more than likely it's going to get scratched, and you're going to have to pay for a repairing or even a replacement for that game. So cartridges allow a big advantage over everything else that's disc-based right now. Why do you think downloaded movies and downloaded video games off of the PSN or Xbox Live are becoming huge? Because it provides a way of being able to have your games, but without the worry of losing them or scratching them. Now, if Nintendo is able to provide empty cartridges where we can download the game and put the game onto the cartridge and delete it from the NX, it allows us to completely save our games and completely have it to ourselves without having to worry about Xbox or the PSN or Nintendo saying, oh, we are only allowed to have 50%. They could take it back whenever they want. But see, it's good. The NX is going to sell if Nintendo does everything right. If they don't mess up the launch, and if they name it something better other than Wii, if they cannot repeat the Wii U and show off one controller and have everyone think like, oh, the Wii U is just a controller attachment for the Wii. Like, no. The Wii U was a new console that no one figured out. Only a couple of people like myself, when they first announced the Wii U and showed off the new controller, and then they showed off a technical demo of what the Wii U could do. The next day I went to school and this guy was like, oh, did you see Nintendo's announcement? It's just a controller. That's so whack. And I was like, nah, bro. It's a new console. Did you not see the difference in hardware when they were showing off the technical demo? Like, come on, you can't think that the Wii can send a video signal to a controller with the amount of power it's got. No, there's no way it could have done that. And I don't think a lot of people still process that even to today, because the Wii sold a bunch of sales and the Wii U is fully backwards compatible with it. Yet no one sees that. They see the controller and like, oh, wow, I'm going to pay $400 for a new controller? That's stupid. I'm going to pay $300 for a controller? That's stupid. Like, they still haven't understood that the Wii U is a new console on its own. That's where they need to make the NX not a Wii-related product. Let the NX use all the Wii stuff, like the Wii U Pro controller, or even this new controller that they're saying is going to have a screen onto it, and let it use all the Wii controllers too. And even the Wii U Pro controller, let it be fully backwards compatible with all the hardware, but except for the discs. Let the discs or the games be downloads from the Nintendo eShop put onto the hard drive of the console, and then the console is able to copy over the game from the console itself onto the cartridge. So if you want to go to your friend's house and you want to play, I don't know, like a fighting game for the Wii, for the NX, Like you want to play a new Tatsunoko versus Capcom, or if you want to play Call of Duty Black Ops 4, 5, or whatever that comes out, and you want to take your game from your console and take it to your friend's house so you guys can play online on his console, it should be allowed to if you want to. And that will sell consoles like crazy. All they have to do is just do it. They just can't be like, oh, well, here's a new console you're going to buy because we're in Nintendo. No, you got to advertise it and you got to push the name out. And you can't just put the Wii name and think it's going to sell, because the Wii U had that and it didn't sell. So what I was thinking, they should name it the Super Nintendo 2. That would be a good name for this new console that's coming out. But that's my opinion. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like and follow and subscribe. My name is Kingdom Heart 3, signing out.